Good afternoon, folks. It is the 30th, and this is your No Banker Left Behind Bailout Watch. Well, listen, I want to talk to you about a bunch of stuff today. We're going to do a little Rush Limbaugh imitation here. A stack of papers. This is actually a little bit important. These set of gentlemen this afternoon, and ladies, let's be straight here, stepped to the microphone on C-SPAN and started talking about problems that they saw with the bill. All but one of them, and I believe I have the correct one, Mr. Holt, voted yes. The other individuals that were there were Representative Cummings, DeFazio, Doggett, Capter, Scott, and Donna Edwards. Now, I bring this up because they said enough things in a little press conference that I've come to believe that there are a few people in Washington, D.C. that actually get it. It's also possible that entire coalition may be Democrats. I haven't looked them all up. But if I actually heard reasonable things coming out of Democrats' mouths, exclusively Democrats, no Republicans in the room, and I am going to check this later, I'm going to have to tear up my Republican Party voter card for Florida and go register as a Democrat. In Florida, we don't have open primaries. You actually have to register as one party or another in order to be able to vote in primaries. I got to tell you guys, it was stunning, some of the things I heard come out of these gentlemen's mouth. One of them was, we're not going to solve the problem by paying $700 billion for garbage, worthless so-called assets. Yeah, gee, somebody's actually bothered to pay attention to what's included in that bill that Paulson wants to ramrod through. And by the way, make no mistake about it, folks, they're going to take another crack at this. Best guess is that the Senate is going to try to vote on this thing tomorrow. Now, technically, they can't do that unless they attach it to the back of another piece of legislation, because it has some tax implications in there. And those bills have to originate in the House. You can't start them in the Senate. So they'll play some cute game and they'll stick it on the back of something else. That wouldn't be too surprising. What that means is that if you're really going to go after people, you got to focus your fire on the Senate. Although, guys, from what I see of the people that are prognosticating on the vote count, the Senate may very well pass it. This means that the House ends up being the battleground. The key item here, folks, is that Paulson's plan cannot and will not work. And before you say, well, the market panicked and then it decided that they're going to pass it and that's why it came back, I want to show you a little chart. I'm going to put this up on the screen now. There's a nice little line there from last Monday. Remember, we supposedly had this plan, it was going to come out, and we had this big rally, okay, off the bottom. You can see that, the Thursday, about halfway through the day Thursday, and then, of course, all day Friday was essentially straight up, and then it kind of topped and just sort of traded in a range. And then the following Monday, though, something very interesting happened. We had the President and the Treasury Secretary come out and scare the country basically halfway to death. The market sold off. It sold off all the way until Thursday. There was a little bit of a relief rally on Thursday, and then Friday it sold off again and climbed its way back. And then over the weekend, folks, we were told repeatedly, remember, we were told repeatedly that this bill was going to pass. I want you to pay very special attention to the right-hand part of the chart, the last 2 days and the last two divisions. This bill was going to pass, but on Monday morning, before the vote was held, we sold off over 300 points. Straight down. Okay, now this is the S&P 500 that you're looking at here. Then after the vote failed, the market tanked. But look at what happened today. We're right back up where we started. Guys, for those of you that think that this bill being passed is somehow ratified by the market rallying, maybe you can go back to a week ago Monday and tell me why the S&P 500 was at 1265-ish. And today it's 100 points lower and essentially in the same place it was before the vote was held. And folks, before you get giddy about the prospect of this bill solving problems, you should pay attention to the fact that we are talking about approximately an 8% sell-off on the promise of passing this bill. Yeah, the last bit of the sell-off yesterday afternoon was panic. Why was it panic? Well, the market hates uncertainty, and when it thinks something's going to happen and then it doesn't, that's usually bad. Okay? The market is a discounting mechanism in the short term, and what you saw yesterday afternoon was sheer panic, not because the bill went down and they were afraid nothing was going to be done. It's because they were sold Armageddon if they didn't pass the bill. President Bush, Henry Paulson, getting out on national television every chance they can to basically say that it is the imminent demise of America if we don't give him $700 billion. You know, listen, guys, there are people that would call that financial terrorism, and I'm awfully close to being one of them. You know, if I said I'm going to set off a device of some sort in a city unless you gave me $700 billion, well, the police would show up, the FBI would show up, the BATF would show up, they'd all lock me up, throw me in jail with good cause. So how come when we have a Treasury official get up on the television, we have a president of the United States get up on television and say, if you don't give us $700 billion to do with as we wish, the economy is going to crash? I mean, how is that really any different? We're going to destroy America, right? I mean, that was what they were basically saying, is America's going to be destroyed. It's going to go straight in the toilet, and we're going to pull a handle. And yeah, okay. You know what? We've heard this before. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and go bash on the war, although I know a lot of people like that. But whatever pushes your buttons, all right, when it comes to Iraq and Afghanistan and all 9/11 and all that, all I got to say is this. This time, he's wrong. Regardless of whether you think he was right or wrong the last time, I'm telling you now, he's wrong this time. You want to see evidence of it? Been over that. Go watch last night's video. $630 billion thrown into the markets they didn't unlock. Hey, guess what? That $600 billion is still there. LIBOR today was at records. We put $600 billion in, nothing happened. You put $700 billion in, nothing's going to happen. The problem isn't money, folks. There's $3.5 trillion in cash sitting in hedge funds right now. You know why the cash won't come out into the market? Because nobody believes anything. We've put a plan together. It's called the Genesis Plan. Like I said before, you can find it on supportedthebailout.com net.org. Take your pick. Go on over, take a read, take a look at what you got. There's also the chronology there. You can always click on the top left-hand little button. It says current, and you'll be taken down to the correct place in the page. People have said, put it the other way around. Now, listen, I want it chronological order, and within the next day or so, there's going to be a little function there. So when you get one of these guys or gals on the phone and says, we've never heard of this, and you've heard that a lot, folks. And by the way, you need to get back on the phone and start calling, faxing, screaming at Congress people, all right? Because they're going to try to pass this thing. We got to stop it. When they try to tell you that they didn't get any of these petitions and faxes, by tomorrow morning, when you wake up, if you go over to Supported the Bailout, you're going to find out that you can punch in the name of a representative or senator. By God, that computer's going to go out there and it's going to tell you exactly how many signatures on each of those petitions were sent. And when the last ones, first and last for each petition, first signature, last signature, and the count. All of it. It's going to be there. All right? So, when you get these guys on the phone, they say, we didn't know. Hey, listen, go read the petitions. You tell me whether they know. And as far as panic, take a look at the stock market, guys. Big green numbers today. Where's the panic? There's no panic. The truth, Paulson's bill was bad. We need a good one. We need one that protects America. We need one that puts the resources where they need to go so that the economic hit that is happening now and is going to continue for quite some time is able to be absorbed, and the people are protected, not the bankers in New York. Have a good day.